for charity. It's not that I'm, you know, a big Greenpeace fan and I want to be. No, sustainability is good for everybody. It's also good for companies, you know. It's not because I'm in love with the planet or with animals. I do. I love the planet. I love animals. It's good for the company. It's good for us. If you take care of the land in your environment and of the people, then of course you have a future ahead of you. Well, what we try to do among many other initiatives, I would like to highlight the issue of our people and of water. Water is probably the most important issue in Mendoza and the Yukon Valley. Mendoza has a water issue already for many years. There's a lack of water actually, and the water reserves below the soils are being exhausted, as also is happening in Australia, in California, and in many other parts of the world. And then Argentina has a similar problem, although not that serious as it is in California. When we invested in Argentina, all our vineyards, except for one, have drop irrigation, which is the most efficient way to irrigate your land.
Sistema de goteo.
Sistema de goteo, sí. And drop irrigation is, of course, it's costly. It's a high investment, because the normal way of irrigation in those areas, and also in Spain and in France, is basically you have a small river or you have a water source. You build some small dikes, you open it, and you let the water flow over your soils. That is the old way of irrigation, as they did in Egypt and whatsoever. Of course, drop irrigation, you will see it everywhere now around the world. We have invested fully in drop irrigation, which is the most efficient way of usage of water. Another investment which we have done over the past few years, together with other owners in the Yukon Valley and with the Inter-American Development Bank, we have canalized the water which is coming from the Andes. Of course, you can imagine that the melting water from the Andes finds its way downhill through small rivers and underground rivers and rivers on the surface. Together with the Inter-American Development Bank, we have canalized that water. Of course, if you would look at it from an, it's not nice to see. You know, the landscape is a bit spoiled because of the canals. But you can imagine that it saves a lot of water. 90%, you win 90% of your water. And that water, again, is being captured and then again used for irrigation or brought back, injected back in the soils, in nature. Now, these initiatives are extremely important for the maintenance of the wine growing area. So our objective is that we take care that our net water usage is as low as possible. And basically through this canal, we can inject more water back than we use, which is of course a positive contribution to the area.
It's huge, absolutely.
Yeah.
And at this point, anyone have a question? Please feel free to ask. We only mute obviously for the quality of the sound, but just feel free to ask any questions.
I take another sip then of my Pinot Noir.
Yeah, do. I adore that Pinot Noir. And the funny thing, you know, like, more interesting is that when we hear all these details and we basically, what we do is just uncork and drink and enjoy it. That also is a big job. But when we know what is behind and the thought and the time, and for sure I know that to have one bottle of wine, it takes 12 months, 1 year, and it never stops the process, you know, because people goes to the wineries on the vendimia time, and you know, you have the wine tastings, and you go to the bodegas and to the tanks, and then you go away, you take your wine with you, you drink your wine, but the work on those places carries on, and I mean, it doesn't stop. And it's absolutely incredible, the whole process, just to have this glass of wine. And starting from that, you know, from nature, from the water that comes from the Andes, to irrigate drop by drop all these beautiful little plants that are there in this grape. So it's absolutely fantastic, you know, and it's not that we need to think all the time when we have a glass of wine, but it's to appreciate that it's a massive work behind this industry. Huge.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions so far?
Any questions, guys? We can unmute now. Like.
Yeah,
Hola, ¿se escucha? Hello.
Oh,
Sí.
Hola, ¿me escuchan, chicos? Bueno, los que muevo la cámara y se mueve todo acá, los perdí. Bueno, la pregunta sería, no sé si es referente a lo último que comentabas porque se me fue el volumen también, o si es en general. ¿Se puede preguntar en general?
Sí, sí, cómo no, todo.
Bueno, por favor, si acá yo estoy en los Estados Unidos en este momento, me decías que es Jackson, se llama Kendall, la que representan ustedes.
Kendall Jackson, sí.
Kendall Jackson. Bueno, ¿cuál otra? ¿Hay otra que se pueda conseguir aquí de la línea de ustedes? ¿Alguna otra variedad?
No, so the question is which wines you can buy in the United States. Of course, we are present in the market in the United States with the brand Salentine and Portillo and Calia. Our importer is located in New York. It's called PBI, Palm Bay International. It's quite a big company. Their main product is Cavit. Maybe you have heard of it, the Italian wine.
Los dos, conozco los dos. Sí, sí, son accesibles, digamos. Bien, bien.
Yes, very accessible wine, Cavit. So those guys are actually selling our wines as well. You will see our wines in Kroger's. You will see our wines in Publix, in Florida, for example, in Miami, and well, in different retailers and also in bars, restaurants, wheresoever. Basically, we are available in all states in the United States. In every state, they are selling our wines. But of course, you have to look for it a bit. So, Salentine, probably you will see a lot of this wine, Portillo.
Y alguno sofisticado, o sea, esos son los que yo considero, ¿no? Vinos que conseguís, accesibles. Alguno más para degustar, más para...
Como un Primus. Por
ejemplo. Sí, como Primus.
Más especial, digamos.
Probably in the United States, but of course, we have many types of wines, many labels. Maybe good to... For example, this label, Grand Vu, this is supposedly the art of the winemaker, the best the winemaker can make, Grand Vu.
Bueno, vamos a tomar nota entonces.
Okay, yeah, I'm waiting for that one here in my house, Sven.
Grand Vu.
A wine you can see in the United States, which is sold, because we can't sell all our wines in all markets. That would be, you know, you lose a bit of focus. So the one we are focusing on in the United States is this one, which is Salentine Numina. Numina. And that is, you have it in a blend and you have it as varieties.
Good.
So you have a French type of blend with Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Petit Verdot. And then you have Numina, Malbec, Numina, Cabernet Franc. So this one is, you can look for this one, Numina.
Numina, bien, bien.
We will be sending the details about the wines that are in the different countries. So you guys in London, in the States, you can find. What about India, Asia market?
We do sell in Asia. We sell in the main markets there are Japan and China. However, Argentine wines in Asia are not yet that popular. I have to be very honest. Of course, the number one country selling wine in Asia is France. And then after that is coming Australia, Spain, also Chile is doing very well. Argentina is unfortunately not yet that very well known. So it's very difficult to sell your wine as an Argentine, very small company in China. But we do sell in China, of course, mainly in Beijing and Shanghai. we have our importer there. We are working in China with Torres, and Torres is a Spanish winery actually, and they have their own import company in China, and we are associated with them. And they are selling our wines in China. Then we have an importer in India as well. We have a very good importer in Japan, in Korea, in the Philippines, in Hong Kong. So we are present, but with a relatively small volume.
I know what we're gonna do. I know we need to do a wine tasting in London with Salentine.
Yes, we can do that. Yes,
we are going to. So let's wait, and then we're gonna do that. So we're gonna.
I would love to do that. Yeah, I would love to do that. Yeah.
Cool.
Tushar and I, we will start and warm things up for you all, just in case you take a while.
Okay.
Now, for the people in the UK, for the people in the UK, I will give you a small secret.
Oh, I like that.
Yes. Which is a bit, you might say it's a bit controversial, because of course we have our wine brands, but we are a commercial company, so of course we look for businesses, whatever. Already since 10 years, we sell wine in the UK to the Aldi UK, which is a bit of a discounter. Of course, not with our own brands, not with Salentine. But if you would like to have a very good wine, if you would like to have a good wine with a good price, go to the Aldi and buy Exquisite Collection Malbec. It's costing you £6. Well, it's not cheap, but it's a good price.
It's good
and
price.
You will have an excellent wine. It's not the Salentine level, but you have a very good Yucca Valley wine for £6, which is, I think, a good deal.
Very good.
Done. That's going to be my quarantine drink.
Yeah. Of course, everybody also would like to talk about the most expensive wines, $100 a bottle, and I don't know, big story, but I'm a businessman and not a winemaker, so I give you the small secret as well.
No secret. Well, that's great. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Liana, toma nota. Toma
No,
nota.
obviamente, like it's all recording here, so Sven.
Yes.
Okay, guys. To go back into our obviously conversation and subject, we were talking about Salentine in Mendoza, the bodega that is absolutely beautiful. As I say, it's a must to go. You also have a Kilka, Sven, and Kilka is such a wonderful part of this whole project, this whole company, where you guys support art, where you guys you put together, I mean, it's heaven basically, nature, wine and art. Yes. So tell us a bit more about, because I think people need to go after this, the ones that doesn't know Salentine and that you guys are in other parts of the world, to the website, just to give a little bit of of what is this place and how wonderful and how majestic and how beautiful, and it's still so well kept, the balance between the winery, the infrastructure with nature. And then it comes this other part, Kilka. Tell us about Sven.
Well, Liana, I think you will be hired soon to promote our winery.
It's my purpose.
Yeah. You are it's amazing how you explain, how you can transmit the experience of the Yucca Valley to this screen of Zoom. I'm very much impressed.
Thank you.
So I don't have much more to add, actually. I think it's, I do agree with you, of course. It's a very nice experience. If you like wine tourism, if you're into the experience of if you like wine, if you would like to know where it's coming from, if you would like to know the place, nature, the soils, and that's so nice about wine, and even about other. We are farmers. A wine company is also a farming company.
Totally.
You grow something out of nothing, about the soil. And the place is, I have to say, of course, it's the company I work for. It's stunning, it's magnificent, it's very nice. And it was the first investment in the Yucca Valley of that size.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the most beautiful wineries in Mendoza. We have won numerous prizes, also of international wine tourism. We have been chosen several times as the hotspot to visit in the wine tourism world. Today we are the #1, #2 visited winery in Argentina. So we receive a lot of people.
Yeah.
You could maybe even say it is too much visitors. You know, it's getting a bit of getting a bit crowded. But it's a lovely place, and certainly anyone you would see in Argentina, if you would go to Mendoza, all the people would recommend you to go to Salentine. I will not pretend that we have the best wines, because there are many good wines from Argentina. We have very good wines, but also our competitors produce very nice wines.
But
As a place to
think
visit,
your wine is one of the best price quality relation. It's very good price, I think.
yes, well, yes, I thank you for the comment.
Sorry, this is Luciano.
Hello.
Luciano.
Hola,
Hola,
Luciano, ¿cómo estás? Hoy van a hacer una charla en
Bien.
Salentine Live, ustedes, ¿verdad?
Sí,
¿Sabías,
we have a virtual with a Zoom with Salentine with the winemakers, and we think that some wines as Numina that I see there, you have one Numina, one Primus, that they are excellent in price,
Yes.
and they are
Yes.
very good in quality comparing
Yes.
them to competitors.
Yes.
Excellent,
Yes.
excellent material. We have a wine bar, and we organize many courses with Salentine. We have all that wines at Cana.
Very nice.
Well,
Thank you very much for that. Yes, great to hear. I'm proud to hear that.
Gracias, Luciano. Sorry, so we carry on with what we were about.
Yes, so going back to the place. So the place to visit, I think it's worth the visit. And what Liana was mentioning, there's some additional, there's an element basically which can't be found in other wineries, is that the owner, the founder of the company, actually from the early beginning, he wanted, actually, he saw the potential of tourism in the area. So there was no tourism at all in the area, in the Yucca Valley. And he said, well, I will build a visitor center. So he built, next to the winery, a visitor center, which is called Kilka. And of course, we have a restaurant, we have a wine bar, but the main element of that center is a museum of art. So imagine, in the Yucca Valley, in the middle of nowhere, where there was nothing, he built a professional museum. And I don't know if there's anyone knowing a bit about art, about museums, but of course, to build a good museum and to have to conserve your art, of course that needs specific investment and to build good cellars and whatsoever. Again, I'm not an expert in art, but I can tell you that we have built a real museum in the middle of the Yucca Valley.
Yeah,
and
it's very impressive, very impressive.
Yes. And then you will see basically the idea, his idea was to bring together Dutch and Argentine culture. So you will have some Dutch masters with some typical Dutch landscapes, and then you will have some contemporary Argentine art of famous Argentine artists. And that is all together being combined in what is called Kilka. So we have a staff, a professional staff, which is full-time hired by us, and they are taking care of the museum. Normally the people who are coming to Salentine will not come to us to visit the museum. I have to be honest. And the founder of the company thought the people would come to the museum. But of course, the people come for the wine and to taste the wine.
But I mean, in
every,
this museum, you can walk around with a glass of wine, or after a wine tasting, you can get even more sensitive to enjoy that. It's actually a great combo.
But everybody will say, well, you know, Salentine is great wines, but the museum, wow, we never expected such a thing. So that is, I think it's worth the effort. And another thing he built is a which I personally like very much, is a small chapel. Maybe do you remember, Liana, the small chapel?
Actually, the small chapel, no. Maybe I went, but I already have too many tastings by then, so yes. Maybe that was the thing. No, tell me about the chapel.
Yeah, there's a small chapel built on the Salentine premises. It's basically in the same line as the winery, as the Kilka, and then you have the chapel on the other side. And it's all built with the materials from the soil. So basically, it's a mud building. But it's a beautiful mud building. It's built in the way people were building the houses in the Yukon Valley, let's say 100 years ago. So you have this very beautiful chapel, very simple, but beautifully built, which was also a way of the founder, of the owner, to give something back to the society, to the environment.
Community. Yes. So this chapel is in any use in terms of like people get married there, or it's just like a symbol of something that people relates with when it's there and feels, you know, part of connection in a way.
Yeah, it's more of a symbol. Then we come a bit into a sensitive area. The owner the founder of the company, he was not religious, so if Catholic, Protestant, whatsoever.
Thank you. I wanted to ask, but I didn't know if I could. I was like, it's not religious.
No problem.
Okay.
It's he was just a smart Dutch businessman who was loving nature. Nature for him was everything. So when he built the chapel, he said, well, it should be for everybody. Mm-hmm. It should be for all religions. And then they had a bit of a discussion, of course, with the local religious authorities, which are in Argentina, of course, mainly Catholic, Roman Catholic. So on the end of the day, he said, well, I keep it open for everybody because it should not be one religion. So that is the reason why we don't have, let's say, weekly Sunday masses there, because then you should choose a certain religion. But there are people who are getting married there, yes. We have Brazilians, we have mainly Brazilians who are marrying at Salentine.
That's fantastic. I mean, the place is such a magical place that actually sounds like perfect in front of the Andes, with all the wine around. I mean, you married and then you just wonder what you just did.
You will have the most wonderful marriage pictures in history, yes, of your life.
Totally.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah.
To carry on our journey, so to make it a little short resume, we start introducing the different units from Salentine. Sven, you as the CEO of, you know, worldwide, it's amazing what you do, and to maintain all of this, that you make it all sounds like blah blah, all very easy, incredibly interesting. But I cannot imagine what is to run all of this, and in the current moment also. So wonderful, and congratulations. We went from the obviously wine. Thank you. I mean, like, kind of, I'm missing all of that here. I just have one bottle. So we went from fruits, exporting fruits. We went for cattle. We went from soya. We went from the countries that Salentine works, that is Australia, Uruguay, obviously Argentina, that is the main core. And then we move into Mendoza, where we have the winery that is stunning. We spoke about, you know, all the work, and the founder, a Dutch guy, that he was from Royal, right? He was Royal.
Yes.
Yes, and I know this story, not for today, but it's actually absolutely amazing, the story of this guy, how he arrived on a boat, and you know, the whole thing. And then we went to describe, you know, what is in that vineyard and the work and the fact that you guys keep the community together, that you are the only Dutch in the entire company, the only outsider really that is not from Argentina. That is absolutely wonderful. And then we touch the different type of wines very quickly, because yes, we are not into a one tasting. We are just, you're talking about in a big picture of what Salentine as a big company is, and you as the CEO. And then we went into the winery. We talk about Kilka that have to do with the art. And then the next thing I know you guys have is the Posada. That is the place, the little lodge that you guys have there. That is also absolutely beautiful. So you want to tell us, I mean, I can imagine that's one of the parts that actually must be hit by now with this whole thing, you know, that's really, really in a stop right now. But, you know, in normal days and very soon, how the La Posada works. And I know it's not inside of the Valle de Uco, right? It's just a bit to be into Tuluyan, is it right?
No, it's Uco Valley. It's still the Uco Valley. No, it's the Posada is, we have a small, well, call it a small Posada, small lodge, small boutique hotel. It has 16 rooms. So it's a small place. It's actually currently managed by Edward, as you very well know. He's doing a great job. I'm very happy with him.
Good.
But it's now closed, of course, and there's nobody coming. And we are a bit worried, actually. Of course, we're not depending on tourism or on the income of our visitors or the hotel, fortunately, because many places in the Uco Valley, many places in Argentina, everywhere in the world, of course, they are. I don't know how they survive, you know, without any income. The place, the Posada, it's a small place. It's a very simple place. It's a humble place. But it's a small hotel, small lodge within nature. You are sleeping next to the vineyards. You are waking up, you go outside of your room and you see the Andes and you see the vineyards. And you hear the water rushing. And it's quiet, it's silent. You will see the people working in the vineyards. It's a lovely place. If you want to have some meditation, if you want to have peace of mind, if you want to get out of life, then you should come to Posada or a similar place. Yes.
Exactly. So on that subject, with all what is going on in the world right now, do you think those type of places like La Posada are the ones that are gonna kick off strongly? You know, hard, like people are looking these days for that connection, and that looking for those places where it's a purpose to go. You know, one thing is to go to Las Vegas right now or after this. Another thing is to go to a place where I can have a connection with nature, when I can, you know, find myself in silence, where I can share an experience with the people that are moving the land and all that. I mean, like Posadas or anything else, what do you think is really what is gonna happen after all these crises finish or comes down a bit, with places like yours or like many others that offers that? You think it's gonna be like, that's the type of thing?
Well, it's very difficult to make an estimation to look into the future. We're still in the middle of the pandemia, of the whole virus thing. Obviously, I certainly hope that this will happen. As you describe it, I think it will really attract people who still want to go somewhere else than their homes or their hometowns. If then you're looking to see something different, something else, but in a safe environment, I think La Posada would be a good option. It's a limited amount of rooms. It's not mass tourism. You can keep your distance. You're in the middle of nature. You can walk around. You don't need to have contact with other people. Of course, it has a restaurant, also the hotel, but you know, with a lot of space, there's no mass contact with other people. So yeah, it would be nice. Would be nice, but I doubt it will soon recover the dynamism we had actually, let's say, a few months ago.
Yeah, yeah.
We depend a lot on, let's say, half of the tourists are Argentine, the other half are foreigners. We have a lot of Brazilians, a lot of Americans coming, and then the third group is Europeans. And I'm a bit afraid that especially the Brazilians will stay away for a bit longer.
Interesting.
And those are the good tourists. They like to spend.
Yeah.
It will be very difficult. I think if we are lucky, then maybe in 12 months, so we talk about, let's say, May next year,
yeah,
we might return to the old levels of occupancy.
Understand.
I think it will take a while. And let's be honest, I think the world has entered already in a recession.
Yeah.
Any market we are in a recession, and of course everybody can have its opinion on that, but obviously we are in a recession. I think the more developed countries, again, US, UK, Europe, they will come out from it rather soon, let's say between 6, 12, 18 months. But the more the developing economies like Argentina, like Brazil, like India, like the African countries, they will have a lot of trouble getting out of the recession, and it will take a bit more than only 1 year to get out of that. And that will certainly impact our business in all aspects.
Yeah, totally. Thank you for that. Very interesting. Of course, I 100% respect your opinion on it, personal opinion, without doubt.
Yes.
On that note, let's say that we have a news, maybe for all of us. What about that wine club of Salentine? I received the notification of it. You guys are opening a wine club.
Yes.
How that works?
Yes, we have. We launched it actually already a couple of years ago with a very limited amount of members. Let me first make a comment about it as a businessman.
Yeah.
And then I will tell you something about this club. Of course, when you talk about a club or online selling, it sounds very interesting. It sounds very attractive. But and we do that, and we do have that idea in every part of the world. In Holland, as we said, in Europe, we have our own company. Even we have our own stores. In the Netherlands, we have 110 wine shops.
Wow.
I didn't mention that before, but we also have our own wine shops. So to sell online your wines is a bit of a tricky thing, because you start to compete with your own clients. That is a dilemma any company in the world has, from Unilever, Procter & Gamble to Nike, Adidas.
Explain that again. What is?
If you start to sell your wine from your own bodega through a website, you will compete with your own clients. So a wine shop.
Oh, got it. Yeah, completely with it. Yeah. Okay.
If you are a supermarket, a wine shop in, suppose you have a wine shop in Buenos Aires, they say, well,
totally.
So the consumer can get the wine from you directly, he gets delivery at home. So what about my business?
Totally.
So basically what we do try to support is that our clients, they build their own online platforms.
Nice.
And in Europe, actually, we have like a package. So any client, any wine shop in Europe who wants to have their own online platform, we have a software package which they can use to build their online platform. That's basically what we do. However, of course, now back to the wine club. Of course, we cannot close our eyes that today, companies like we need to have our own club, our own direct access to the consumers.
Yeah.
Now, we have done that through a private club. So if you go to the web, you cannot find this private club.
No.
So you need to be invited.
Yeah.
like you have been invited. And of course, I would love to invite all the people listening here today, but it's a club in Argentina for the moment. So if you're living in Argentina, if you're interested, I can send you an invitation to this wine club, where you can, of course, access to all our wines at very competitive prices, and you can participate in all the promotions we have and special offers we have for our members. And that is offers, of course, on the wines, but also on the tourism side.
Mm.
And it's doing very well because, of course, of the price quality has an excellent relation for the members of that club.
Do you guys deliver to the house? Like if I order, I will get my wine here at my door.
Yes, señora. Sí.
Okay. Order.
Yeah.
Okay, very well done. I mean, and this club comes out of this necessity right now because the pandemic, or it was something that you guys were planning anyhow to do?
No, we were working on that already for
Okay.
for the past 2 years. Obviously, now with the pandemic, the level of orders is higher than ever. Yes. But actually, what you see, I have to be. If you look to the sales, for example, of our wines in Argentina, we're not suffering that much. Of course, all the sales.
Wonderful to hear that, I have to say. I mean, like,
yeah.
It's great.
All the sales to the restaurants, of course, they have stopped. So you lose a lot of sales, especially the more higher priced wines. You know, the single vineyards, the premiums, the wines being that the people drink in the restaurants. They do suffer a bit. But everything which is retail, so you have the wine shops and particularly the supermarkets, are doing very well with the wine sales. So you see that people actually,
Totally.
they started to enjoy again, you know, food and wine at home. It's not like the people are start to binge drinking at home, having parties, but they start to enjoy the slow, you know, the slow life.
Yeah.
Food, and with food comes wine. So our sales are still relatively doing well. Of course, not at the level as before, but I can't complain. And most of the supermarkets are selling online.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
For people living in Argentina, if you look to the Jumbo or Coto, they're doing extremely well. So,
Very.
and you can buy wine online. Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys are one of the bodegas, you know, the winemakers that you have products for everyone, and
yes.
Your wine is everywhere. So it's
yes.
not a boutique where you only produce a amount. Therefore, you have to also keep it, you know, it's a small production to a very specific public. You guys have range,
yes.
like, you know, Portillo, like, and then you go to the Primus at the end, and therefore you manage to have that cleverly.
Yes.
And thanks to that, you are in the position that you have right now, I guess, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Excellent description. Yes.
Again, tick!
Yes, again.
Okay, I don't need to worry about job. I will get a Salentine. You know, I'm going to take care of the posada soon. Luckily, Edward is not here to hear that. And lastly, yes. From my side, anyhow, and thank you everybody for keep, you know, with us here in our conversation. I hope this has been a good experience. Sven, it's such an honor to have you here. You're a very private guy. I know that for sure. So I am very grateful that you say yes to me for this very spontaneous, like, oh my God, I would like to do a song with you. And thank you for saying yes. So Alida, and on that note,
Very good, yes.
Do you remember, you gave me this so long ago, and I found it by pure, I was thinking where I put that bottle that he told me was so special, and then I knew it was somewhere. Yeah. I got it.
Hiding it from me, I guess.
Oh, totally. Always. The best things I keep it for myself. Oh, darling. So basically, the name means everything. I want to talk about the mansion in Holland, I want to talk about that beautiful Brut Nature is, right?
Yes.
And why the name, and a bit more, if we can visit that mansion and how it works. I only know Salentine here in Argentina, in Mendoza.
Yes.
I don't have clue about this. So,
Yes.
and people that is in Europe have more chances to, when everything gets better, to just take a easy jet and enjoy this stuff, right?
If EasyJet is still there, yes.
Oh,
Then you can,
let's say yes.
yes, yes. Okay, so it's a good introduction to say something about the sparkling wines, or in Argentina actually they say champagne, but it's not of course champagne from France, but we do have very nice sparkling wines. Here we have Alida, here we have the Salentine, the Rosado, the pink one.
Oh my God, but that's like in summer, I see it everywhere. It's crazy. It's delicious.
And I think Argentine sparkling wines are not very well known in the world. Obviously, you have Champagne from France, then you have the Prosecco from Italy, you have the Cava from Spain, you have the German sparkling wines. They will arrive to any market in the world, not really the Argentine sparkling wines. But that's actually a pity, because I do believe that the sparkling wines from Argentina are particularly good.
They are.
And you like them, they're very... And then, but of course, we have to distinguish again between which area. I think the Yucco Valley is excellent for sparkling wines. As you might know, sparkling wines everywhere in the world, and also the champagne, basically is being produced from Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. Those are the two varieties yes, you are drinking Chardonnay, very nice. And both grapes are actually, in Champagne, if you look to the region of Champagne in France, it is a more colder region. You know, the weather in Reims, in Champagne, it's not the south of France, it's not Spain, it's not the south of Italy. And so you have these specific temperatures where Pinot Noir, also Bourgogne and Chardonnay are doing extremely well. So in the Yucco Valley, Chardonnay and Pinot Noir are doing very well. So that means you can produce a very nice sparkling wine, fresh, with acidity, with a good crispiness from the Yucco Valley. And actually the segment is doing very well. We're selling a lot of sparkling wine nowadays, although mainly in Argentina. The exports are a bit difficult. So if we go to this wine, Alida, Alida was made, it's our premium, it's our high-end sparkling wine. It's again based on Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and then the nice thing about it, it has Pinot Meunier, which is a grape which is basically non-existing in Argentina. We have 1 hectare of Pinot Meunier in Sao Paulo, in the Yucco Valley, and that is being used for this product. And that is what makes it very special.
You have a specific grape just to make the Alida.
Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. So when we were getting, into the sparkling wines, we said we would like to make really a premium product, sparkling wines. How can we create something which is new, which is different, which is of high quality? So we got to this Alida, which is, of course, it's a whole process, and it's so many months and whatsoever. But the special thing is the petit Pinot Meunier. And so you get an Alida, which it's a bit creamy, it's crispy, it has high acidity, it has a good crisp, a good bubble.
Nice.
And then the name, and you were mentioning that very well. Then we said, well, we would like to have, it's named after Alida van Salentine. It's a person, Alida van Salentine, which actually lived on the Salentine estate in the mansion Salentine in the Netherlands. 300 years ago, there was a lady who was actually known for the society life, known of drinking champagne from France. So, and still, if you go to the Salentine estate, you can find her grave. There's a tumba of Alida, It was a young lady, and so we baptized our best sparkling wine from Argentina in the name of Alida van Salentine. So you can actually visit, as I was mentioning, we have an estate Salentine in the Netherlands, which you can visit, where you can eat, you can drink, you can enjoy.
How accessible is it?
Excuse me?
How accessible, like you call it like the mansion, and it is. I mean, it's pretty spectacular.
Well, yeah, it's not like a museum. You can't enter, but you can, for example, for wedding events, you can rent the place. For meetings, you can rent the place, and of course, if you go there, somebody can give you a small tour.
It's open for the public, or we just need to go. I know Sven. Can I get in?
Yes, you need that last one. Yes. No, it's not open for the public. It's not open for the public.
Okay.
No, but if you can go there and you have a contact, of course, somebody can show you around. Yes.
Brilliant.
Very nice place. It's not huge, but it's a very nice place. Yes.
Sven, I have a question for you.
Yes, please.
I loved your storytellings. They're so interesting, and it really kept us all wanting to know more and more about this whole, what kind of grape you use, how you use the whole irrigation and everything. There's just one thing I wanted to know. You know the name Kalia in one of the. So what does that mean? Because in Indian language, in Hindi, we have a name by that. Kalia, and it's something to do with the mythology. So I'll explain that a little bit later, but what reference does that have here? Does it have any reference with anything, or it's just a name like?
It actually, I would really like to hear your story about the Indian background, the mythology. Sure. But Kalia, it basically is the name of a grandmother of the one.
Sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but okay, yeah.
It was the nickname, an apodo, of the grandmother of one of the people involved in the founding of Kalia.
Oh, interesting. Okay, lovely.
So it's from San Juan, no? It's a San Juan winery. We have two, Pyros and Kalia.
Mm-hmm.
And Kalia is also producing a bit more accessible wines. You will find it for 6-7 euros is the cheapest one in Europe, or 6 pounds in UK. Right. But it's coming from a grandmother. So
okay, interesting.
What's the Indian myth?
So basically, let's say it then. Oh, I love Indian mythology. It's very amusing. You love the story. So basically, Kalia was a, I think, 10-headed snake, right? Mm-hmm. You know, Indian mythology is full of stories, so just take it with a pinch of salt. So this Kalia was a I think 10-headed snake or something, and he used to rule the waters where Lord Krishna, you know, I mean, it's a big story, but Lord Krishna was one of the gods, and he was playing, and as he was playing, the ball went into the rivers in Yamuna, and that river used to be black because this Sheshnag, the 10-headed snake called Kalia, used to rule the waters. Wow. And so this Lord Krishna went in there and had a fight with that snake, the snake that was called Kalia. And when he came out with the ball, he was actually dancing on that snake. So he basically overpowered the snake. And it's only after that the waters, which were like black in color because of the color of the snake, became pure. And that snake was called Kalia because Kalia means black in Hindi, in Indian language. And the snake was called Kalia. So I was very amused because the bottle that you showed me is dark black in color, and it's called Kalia. And well, the spelling in Indian is like Kalia. So it was very close, and I was wondering if there's any reference to the grape sourced at some point from somewhere, or I don't know. I just thought it very interesting that if there was some connection. But that's
Well, you should
interesting.
read the label now. I think it's a fantastic story.
I have a new story now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just don't tell anyone it's your grandmother.
Exactly. We have a question here from Ernesto. Ernesto, ¿estás ahí?
Yes, I am.
Can you please?
I just wanted to know if Alidas sparkling wine have the traditional method or the Charmat.
Charmat method. Good. Thank you.
To you, thank you.
Then we have a question from Stephanie Brechor. Are you, Stephanie, there? Is she there, Stephanie?
Sorry, I lost you. Now, my question was more about the farming, about the ranches.
Yeah.
You have a ranch in Corrientes, don't you?
Yeah, I think we are neighbors.
Yeah, we are. So I was going to say, next time bring over your wine and we'll have a nice asado. So yeah.
Yes.
So really, we hear about you guys all the time, and we just have an itty bitty family ranch, but you guys are doing a really good job. And just so everyone knows, they are helping the community so much and offering a lot of help to the community. Entonces, bueno, para los que viven acá, es que realmente son unos capos ahí en Corrientes, y es un pueblo chiquitito y están trabajando muchísimo, y bueno, que te agradezco, eh. So anyway, next time stop by. All right.
Thank you very much for the comment. Yes.
Whenever we get out of quarantine, we'll have to meet. Okay.
Yes.
All the best. I'm going to mute again. Oh shit! I wish I got you.
That's
sorry, I don't know what I did. Here I am. I'm here. Okay.
Wait, I'm going to quickly show you this photo. I don't know if you can see here, but
yes,
that's
the snake.
So that's the Lord Krishna, and that's the snake which was overcome. You know, overpowered rather.
I'm going to look it up, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, do have a look. It's interesting.
That's amazing.
Nice.
Love it. There you have a name and a new how you call etiqueta for the wine. It's all there together. You don't need to even do anything, Sven. You need to just tell them that. We have another question. Linda, are you still here?
I'm here.
Hey, gorgeous. Sorry, I just picking up from the questions from before. So you have a comment from before about Aldi.
Oh no, I was just saying Aldi has amazing wine apparently, so I'll definitely check it out. And regarding the traditional method or the Charmat method, so I'm familiar with the traditional method, but what is the Charmat method, please?
Basically, the main difference is that you have the traditional method, you have the fermentation in the bottle.
Right.
And the Charmat method, you have the fermentation in tanks. I think that is the main difference to keep it simple. If you go to, I don't know if you've ever been to the Champagne region or to any champagne company. Of course, their biggest investment is, and the biggest thing to show is all those bottles which they have in stock, which they turn around.
Yeah.
It's a traditional method of champagne making. Of course, with the current techniques, with the modern techniques, with the modern tanks, then the Charmat method came, and of course it's much more efficient to make the sparkling wine in tanks. And of course then you have also different methods to make it, but that's called the Charmat method.
The turning the bottle, oh my God. I mean, I still have some winery here that they do it, and I found it fascinating because you need to have your own clock.
We do make also we do have some sparkling wine actually with the traditional method. We also make it, so that's really the turning around. But that's only a small segment of our wines, and that's I have to be honest, especially in Argentina, it's not really recognized as something better than the normal sparkling wine.
Yeah, yeah. Other
The
question
consumer
here.
simply doesn't know, or few
Yeah, exactly.
consumers
You're
know.
never gonna know. But you value when you visit the bodega and then you see the whole, you know, I found it fascinating. It's crazy,
Yes.
absolutely crazy.
Yeah. It's fascinating. And it
What
is, of
about-
course, fermentation on bottle is different than in the tank. That of course, is
Obviously, yeah. But okay, what about in France? Do you have your winery? I guess is that to show us that where in France?
That's we have it in Languedoc. We have it with a French. Actually, it's a South African guy who had a winery there, and we invested together with him. And it's called, our brand is called Le Nez, la nariz, the nose.
Oh.
And it's really a very small thing, at least compared to Salentine, which is a bigger company. That's really a boutique, small winery.
Excellent, thank you.
I'm going here from more questions. That is have a traditional method or Charmat. I think you answered that already.
Sven?
Linda, and then there's Kali, goodness. Okay, I think you answered that already. Great. I think, let me see, I don't want to miss any questions here. I can see you. I mean, give it a second. Luciano left.
Quick question
Okay.
to Sven.
Yes, Piers.
Hello, mate. Nice to see you. Long time. Just like Liana, last time went to the Salentine Bodega. The part that's so magnificent where you've got the grand piano and all the barrels around it in the circle. And now I just need your memory, because mine, again, not surprisingly, not so great from that trip. I just remember there being a room off that had some story about a table. There was something outrageous about this table.
That's the Primus room.
You remember what the hell I'm talking about?
The Primus room.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's the Primus room or
Yeah,
not, but there
it
was
is the Primus
something.
room. It's the room that have
Okay.
a long table.
Yeah, but there was something about this table, maybe about the ludicrous weight of it or what it was made of. I
The
don't
weight,
remember, but
the weight. You have to be left by, I don't know how, I mean, it was one of the heaviest tables ever. It was the weight.
Yeah. No, that is, yeah. So we have, basically the room is being used as a tasting room, and also you see that the wine being stored, one of the best wines we have is being stored in that room.
Mm.
It's underground for the people who don't know the place. And there, this table actually, well, of course, it's a very heavy table. But I think the nice thing is the story about it is that it's with all other materials which were used for the construction of the bodega, it's all coming from the same place. It's coming from the Yucco Valley. So this table was being cut out of the Andes. It's granito. How do you say that? Granito.
Yeah, granito. Ale, how you say granito?
Granite.
Granite.
I
Well,
forgot
it's a
you were
stone,
there.
of course,
Granite.
like marble. Yeah, it's cut
granite.
from the and well, I think you've never been to Calia in San Juan, and there we have I would say a similar table and even better. It's bigger. Yes, and yeah, it's very nice. It's beautiful. Yes, it's cut out of the mountains. Yeah.
If we're going to expand a bit on that, and if everybody's still happy, guys, you feel free to go to bed or carry on drinking. Like I've almost finished my glass. I mean, it looks like it
You
happened.
told me it would be half an hour. The chat. It would
I
be half
know,
an
but
hour.
look at what happened.
Perdón, Liana, el amigo Lou dice, my friend Lou is sorry he had to leave. He's in another Zoom meeting with some lawyers.
Oh, no,
He'll
I
get
know,
back.
I read, yes, no, but wonderful that they are doing a tasting with Salentine. What a coincidence. I love it.
Sorry about that.
Gracias, querida, por la introducción con Luciano. Okay, La Rosa de los Vientos. Is that flowered? So when you got into the main area of the bodega, you see
Yes.
these rows with los puntos cardinales, but basically, and the whole, well, I remember actually when you go there, they explain that to you because it's absolutely incredible. And you guys, to Char, Linda, and everybody that is listening, you guys gonna love this. They have this cola piano there. So it's so difficult to describe, but you can see the pictures on the website. But when you are there, it's way more majestic because imagine the size of all of these. I am a big fan of boutique bodegas, big fan. Like I adore the small ones and meet the family that make them and all that. I have to say that Salentine is a big bodega, but it's one of those that you still feel acclimated, you still feel connected, you still feel very well. I know because I'm talking here with Sven, I mean, like, come on. It is really, really amazing, a stunning place. And visually, you know, from the mountains and the way that they complement mountains with that infrastructure and building. And they kept such a nature inside of all those elements, and it's not busy. And all the beautiful French barrels lying all around, and the piano in the middle, and you can watch it from above or right in front of it. It's actually an experience itself. And you guys there done concerts, piano concerts, operas, and the acoustic. I mean, it's very well done, the whole thing. And it's a bodega, it's a winery. I mean, it's very impressive, very impressive.
Yeah. Again, maybe good to mention that this bodega was designed and built by people from Mendoza. The architect is a couple after actually they separated, but they're still working. And they built a lot of other wineries, but these are people from Mendoza. But the whole idea of the cellar and of the construction of bodega, again, it was partly linked to sustainability. So the whole bodega was built on gravity, which was, today you will see a lot of wineries are using the same concept, but back then was not the case. But the thing is based on gravity, and the winery should not really intervene with nature. Also from the outside, it's quite a humble building. It's not a luxurious palace. It's a humble building. It's part of nature. And the main construction actually is below the soil, below the level of your visibility. And what was created there, of course, was, again, gravity. And then the whole thing about the, how do you call it, the La Rosa, how do you say that in English, Piers?
La Rosa de los Vientos.
La Rosa de los Vientos, yes.
Stephanie, what would that be? Rosa de los Vientos. In English.
I don't know. Rosa de los Vientos, nunca he escuchado.
No, it's what they use because it's what you use as a sailor when you're on the sea.
The sail.
The compass.
A compass. Yeah, it's a compass actually, but on this shape. When you look at the cardinal points, when you look down.
Ah.
And that was being introduced there because the founder wanted to, first of all, he was a fanatic sailor. He had some hobbies, which basically was hunting, fishing, nature, and sailing. Those were his hobbies. So he was a fanatic sailor, sailing boats all over the world. So that's why the Rosa de los Vientos was introduced. And to give a bit the international orientation of the bodega. And he liked it very much. He wanted to show that Salentine was part of the world, as he had sailed the world.
Así de, here is Ernesto. Ernesto, ¿estás acá conectado con tu speaker? Creo que dijiste el término correcto, que es
Ahora sí.
El naval rose, la rosa naval. Claro,
That's right.
¿no?
Yeah.
A naval rose, yes.
That makes complete sense, sí.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, anyone have any other question? I mean, we know more or less where we can get our wines. We obviously are gonna talk to Sven again, and maybe we can make a list of places, you know, in London and different parts of the world where, you know, we can say to people, wherever you are, this is the places that you can get the Salentine wines or the other wines that you guys distribute. Anything else you want to know? Thank you so much for being here, Sven. Thank you so much. Just talked too much.
I think so, yeah.
It's all your fault. I mean,
30 minutes to 2 hours.
I know, this is not crazy. I love it. I can't believe 2 hours with just one glass of wine just because I cannot do a refill. But yeah, cheers. Thank you so much. And honestly, congratulations for this amazing work that you are doing with Salentine. We appreciate every effort. We appreciate this at home. It's a beautiful company, and you are not the CEO because obviously you do an amazing work with everything. So well done you, and the best of the best for everything that is coming. You have our full support. And you guys that are back there, thank you for joining us. Thank you for staying that long.
Thank you so much, Sven. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, teacher. You're wonderful. And everybody there, I know some people left already. Honestly, I didn't expect anyone to stay this long. So thank you so much for tuning with us. Yes, any question, please shoot right now. Otherwise, we will make sure that we send a full information on our social media and the web. Obviously, we will. I hope to see you tomorrow with our interview that we're going to have with Linda Hugo. She just left. She's the founder of Beyond Curated, which got luxury in the right way of luxury experience in London. And she's an absolutely gem in terms of knowledge about art and about jewelry and about all the very nice things in life, but take it into the right way. You know, luxury means so much, and I think she have the right concept and idea to transmit this. And it's a woman that basically recreate herself into a new business, and she works with the most famous brands in the world in the industry in fashion. And she decided to create her own business, and now she's up and running. And obviously, I admire that and support her, and she's doing very well. So hopefully, you guys tune with us tomorrow. It's going to be at 3 in the afternoon, Argentine time, 7 p.m. You guys, UK.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. We'll see you there.
And on Friday, we're going to have aviation, the luxury of private aviation. That is the one that is taking people to other places these days. You know, commercial flights, they stop more from here, Argentina, that is closed. But the private aviation is still allowed to travel and allowed to fly and allowed to do things. So for anyone that have friends that want to know more about this, also on Friday at 5 p.m. Argentine time, 9 p.m. UK, is a very, very interesting subject from someone that is a complete a guru in the industry. He owns a couple of companies and jets and things, and he's into it. So it's also a very, very interesting subject. So, you know, we're busy.
Thank you very much,
everyone.
Excellent. Thank you very much. See you guys soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, PS. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Sven.
Darling. Ale, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Un cariño muy grande para todos y para Pierce, que no lo conozco tanto de verlo en el colegio, pero bueno, Liana es una hermosa persona. Gracias por tenernos a todos, Liana. Un besito muy grande para todos. Gracias por tu gran explicación hoy, Sven. Muy lindo tenerlos.
Bueno, gracias. Placer conocerte.
Un placer también, y voy a tomar nota, como dije, de todo lo aprendido hoy para poder ir a buscar lo bueno que hay por ahí y apreciarlo desde otro lado hoy.
¿En qué parte estás de Estados Unidos?
Yo estoy en la costa este, así que aquí estoy muy cerquita de Nueva York, en Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, muy